What's going on? This is Dylan with Manoa Chocolate, and today we are going to cover confusing chocolate terms, and there's a lot of them. We're going to start with cocoa versus cacao. You hear this all the time. There is no difference. Cocoa is Europe and Africa. They love to use the word cocoa. Cacao, which is originating from the Latin word Theobroma cacao, the scientific name of chocolate. Cacao tends to be used in South America and the craft chocolate world. You'll hear some of the US use it more, but anything that's more industrial tends to use cocoa, and that's what they say in Africa, and that's what they say in Europe more, and that's where there's a lot more history of it. So, tomato, that's what that means. You'll often, in the industrial side of things, you'll often see cocoa referring to cacao that's been roasted. I haven't seen this too much, but it's my understanding of the way it works. However, it's the same word, cocoa versus cacao, tomato. So, moving on, the more confusing language that is often used in chocolate are things like cocoa mass, cocoa liquor, cocoa paste, chocolate liquor. All of this, it's also the same thing. All it is crushed up nibs. So, kind of confusing, but you'll see this on packages, especially if, say, I wanted to buy crushed up nibs at a huge volume. I would then bring in cocoa mass, cocoa liquor, cocoa paste, whatever we want to call it here, and then I would buy sugar. I would then mix this into my ball mill, my 5-roll refiner, whatever machine that would come next. So it's a way of skipping a step. I wouldn't have to roast it, I wouldn't have to winnow it, I wouldn't have to crush it up. I'm starting at the point where I'm mixing in sugar and milk powder, or just sugar. So that's what those mean. If you see it says cocoa mass, cocoa liquor, it's probably some company is purchasing large amounts of crushed up nibs. And this is more of a larger scale industry, the way a larger industry would work. Craft chocolate doesn't work this way. We're starting with beans going all the way to bars. But if we wanted to be way more efficient, this is how we would do it, and we'd save a lot on initial costs of manufacturing. Now, Dutched and alkalized cocoa. Dutched cocoa, alkalized cocoa, also same exact thing. Dutched sounds a lot better. It started in the Netherlands, and all it means is that you're adding a really high pH chemical, whether that's sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, same thing, or you're adding something like potassium. So really high pH items to reduce the acidity in the chocolate. This is going to neutralize flavor. You're pretty much left with no flavor except chocolate. So you took out the majority of the flavor and you're left with just the chocolate flavor, which is actually great for the mass market because most beans, as we've covered in past episodes, are not good. The farmers are not incentivized to do a good job. They're not paid for it. So at the end of the day, they're just trying to get beans to market as fast as possible because they're getting such a low price at a farm gate price. But that's a different episode. We've covered that in the past. So that's Dutched and alkalized, and you'll see that often on packages like of cocoa powder. Cocoa powder often says Dutched or alkalized cocoa. And it sounds great. You're getting one flavor. It's neutralized. It also has darkened the color. And for whatever reason, that looks good to us. It doesn't mean anything. It's just the color got darkened by adding this really high pH baking soda or potassium. So this is the first part of what we're going to do as far as confusing chocolate terms. I'm sure this helped. I hope to see you next time. If you like this channel, actually, please subscribe. We're starting to notice that this really helps people, and give us your feedback on what you want to hear future episodes covering. And we can do that. We're happy and open to feedback. Cheers. Happy chocolate making. See you next time.